No one is talking about this, as this will be huge for the Los Angeles Lakers, as earlier today the Lakers introduced Luka Doncic as essentially the next face of the franchise, but it was what Luka said about his recent departure from the Mavs that caught my attention. And there's an underlying fact that everyone is missing that can make Luka's transition quicker for the Lakers. What's good? I'm Okechi Apakama, and this is Lakers Digest coming at you with another video. And before we get to everything we have for you for today's video, guys, I just want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel because we are booming with content and videos here. Luka Doncic is now a Los Angeles Lakers, and welcome over all of these new subs. Welcome, Mavs fans. How you guys feeling? It will be okay, but Luka is now a Laker, and we are going in a totally new direction. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you guys get all of those Laker updates. Now, with that out of the way, let's hop straight into the topics we have for you today, as Luka is ready to prove the doubters wrong. So, Luka Doncic earlier today had his press conference with Pelinka and many of the world watching in as the first moments as Luka Doncic is a Laker. And there was a lot of questions surrounding his departure from the Mavs, like why it happened, why would you trade a 25-year-old superstar entering or in his prime? And it's still unclear to most people, especially Luka Doncic, as they asked him recently about getting traded away from the Mavericks, which a place where he thought he was going to spend his entire career there. So this is what Luka said, as everyone was surprised. So you can imagine how surprised I was. I was asleep when I got the call. I had to check if it was April 1st. I was shocked. I was hurt. And that is some very candid words there for Luka Doncic, as he's a guy that definitely wears his emotions on his sleeve, and you see it every time he plays out there on the court. So for a guy like Luka Doncic, who was expecting to be a Dallas Maverick for the rest of his career, as he looked to guys like Dirk Nowitzki out there, now getting traded pretty much in the middle of middle of his prime, changes everything for him and the Los Angeles Lakers. And the Lakers are in a prime position to now build around Luka Doncic. But there was more about what Luka said about his departure there. And this was more quotes, as Luka said, "I thought I'd be there my whole career. Loyalty is big for me, but I got the ocean here. I get to play for the Lakers, and not many get to say that." And yes, that is a real thing here. Laker exceptionalism kind of seems like, as the Lakers are going off of one star to another. But the Dallas Mavericks did not do him right, Luka Doncic, that is, because even if you are going to trade a guy like Luka, it's better to alert the player or let them know it's happening or things of that nature. And it just seems like things fell apart for the Dallas Mavericks, but they kind of aligned for the Los Angeles Lakers, as this gave them an opportunity of a lifetime, albeit you did trade one of the best defensive talents we have seen in the past 10 years, but it was to get a generational player in Luka Doncic. And Luka just being hurt by all these, so it's a whole tons of emotions are running through his mind, but he is seeming excited to play for the Los Angeles Lakers and this brand and LeBron James, as LeBron James was one of the first people to call Luka Doncic after the trade happened. And then Luka said that meant a lot to him, and so that is good to see. But they also asked Luka about what do you have to prove by trading to the what do you have to prove by being traded away from the Dallas Mavericks? And he just said one thing flat and simple that's going to make Laker fans proud, as you don't come to the Lakers for nothing less than a championship. The goal is to win a championship. And that is things that I like to hear from a guy like Luka Doncic. He is not afraid of the moment. He is not afraid of the spotlight. This is what we need. This type of superstar that can take us into the next frontier. And yes, there is a lot of murkiness of how to build out the rest of the team, but as of right now, you have a tremendous starting point with Luka Doncic, and there's a lot of different avenues the Lakers can go here. Obviously, they need a big man. Obviously, they can build the rest of the rotation out, maybe another point of attack defender. But having Luka here is a great starting off point, and we'll see which way Pelinka pivots to roster building wise, as it seems like nobody really is safe after the Lakers traded away a guy that helped bring them a championship over there in the 2020 bubble. So, and there was also another thing that Luka said here, as more motivation, as Luka talked about his conditioning issues as it's a motive. I know it's not true. It's a big motive for the long run. And that is a big thing because, like, Luka, there was a lot of reports coming out. He was reaching very high weight into 260 into 270. So there were some concerns about that on that end. And he is a guy who is averaging about 28, 9, and 9. So it's very hard to fathom that, like, that is like the biggest issue that they had right there, because being out of shape or not in the perfect basketball shape, that's a fixable thing. And when you're playing next to a guy like LeBron James, who brings out the best in a myriad of his teammates, even if you go down to some of the higher level role players that he's played with, to all the way to the best stars that he's played with, like Kyrie, like Dwayne Wade, like Anthony Davis, all of those guys were able to bring out the best in themselves playing alongside with LeBron James. And who's to say the same can't happen for a guy like Luka Doncic? But there is something that everyone has been missing about Luka coming to the Lakers that's going to make his transition a lot easier. And it's the fact that he has familiarity with the squad already. So him being in the league for, this is his 7th season here, the Lakers already have a couple of players that he played with. One obviously being the coach with JJ Redick, as Redick ended his career in Dallas, and then he was able to line up with a guy like JJ Redick. And he also has a very high level of respect for a guy like JJ Redick. But the other guy I wanted to get to was Dorian Finney-Smith. They played together for a long time over there with the Dallas Mavericks, and they had a couple of deep playoff runs together, having a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith. And I know he was upset then when they had traded for Kyrie Irving and they had to trade out Dorian Finney-Smith, that Luka Doncic was upset that they had to let him go in order to get a guy like Kyrie. Obviously, it helped them out because he got all the way to the finals, but trading him away kind of hurt Luka a little bit. But now they get to play again together, and he was asked about that after the after the press conference, and he was talking with Ali Clifton of Spectrum Sportsnet, and this is what he said here. As she asked him on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think of Dorian Finney-Smith? And he said 10. That is my guy. That is my guy. We basically, I feel like, started playing basketball together, in Dallas. So we grew up as players together. So yeah, I'm excited to play with him. 10 to play with him. So he is over the moon to play with a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith here. And who wouldn't be? Dorian Finney-Smith is one of those dogged players. He's going to go out there and guard one of the better wing players out there, or he can guard some centers in some specific lineups. So he can do a lot of different things for you. And offensively, he's the guy that can pick and pop. He's a very solid ball mover in a 5-out offense, so he can keep the chains moving. And he's a great corner shooter, which is great for guys like LeBron and Luka to find those guys in those areas, because Dorian Finney-Smith was starting to find some success with the Lakers already with LeBron and Lana, but now you add Luka Doncic. They already have that kinship that they had together in Dallas, and now you bring that over to the Lakers. That can only bode well for a guy to transition more seamlessly like Luka, because there is definitely going to be some growing pains there with Luka coming into the team and obviously having LeBron on the team. But these guys are super computers. And then you have, along with the coach, JJ Redick, who is an absolute sicko when it comes to the X's and O's of basketball. So he's going to find a workaround to have both of those guys work seamlessly on the court. LeBron has become a much better off-ball player in years past, and this year prior. And he's also been a guy that has been a very good screen setter for us, because there's a lot of two-man action that he runs with a guy like Austin Reaves. Now substitute a guy like Luka Doncic in those two-man games. You can do a lot of different things, because it will be very hard for the defenses to really guard both Luka and LeBron James, because usually that guy has to guard one of them, and it's rare that teams have two guys to guard both of them. So this is going to be a lot of issues offensively for a lot of teams to try to figure out. And this is going to be a fun problem to have for a guy like JJ Redick, because there is a myriad of offensive things that you can do with these two guys, whether it's in the half court, whether it's in transition, whether it's just anywhere that these guys are on the floor together and have the ball, you can do a lot of different things. It's going to stress the defense, and it's going to really improve the Laker offense. Now, we'll get to the parts where we worry about the defense and some of the other things, but I think that's why it's important to note a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, because he is one of those two-way guys, and I do believe those two-way guys are going to have a high probability to make it out of the trade deadline and stay with the Laker team on in the future. So a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, a guy like, Austin Reaves, he does play both sides of the ball, and now his role is going to be shrinked a little bit offensively, so he can now focus a bit more on the defensive side of things and help the Lakers out there, because before he became more of a high usage and high level player, he was more of a role player and a guy that was going to take charges for you guys, and just a guy that can go out there and compete. So you're going to have that as well. So there is a lot of different things that Rob Pelinka has to think for and act on as the GM here within the next 48 hours. But we'll see what direction he chooses. But let us know what you guys think in the comments down below of what you think a guy like Rob Pelinka should do to build out the rest of this Laker team around Luka Doncic. Is that more of that getting those defensive players that can round out Luka, and so you can sort of protect him in certain lineups? Or are you trying to get maybe bigger and stronger, getting more bigger players and try to punish people that way? So there is a lot of different ways you can build this team. Let us know in the comments down below. And just one more thing for us, guys. There is about 89% of y'all who have recently watched the videos who are not yet subscribed to the channel just yet. And if you guys want more of that Laker news, Laker updates, trade rumors, game recaps, just every and all things LA Lakers, you guys want to come right here to Lakers Digest so you don't miss any of that action. All right, I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.